Welcome, everyone. This is the Real Purpose Podcast, and I am Michelle Carr.
And I'm Trevor Ounce. This podcast is all about finding real purpose in our businesses, communities, and lives.
Yes, it is. So it is March, and that's kind of spring cleaning time.
Kinda, yeah.
And I always feel like this topic always comes up for me in my life at this time of year. But I was thinking about it in the respect of giving back and how sometimes when we do a spring cleaning, it can be an opportunity to give back in some of the most basic of ways, like donating things you don't use or need anymore.
Yeah.
And I got to thinking about that, and it's something that with real estate, I had always encouraged people to take that opportunity, especially if you're looking to move. It's a good time to clean out, get rid of the stuff you don't want. Why pack it and move it if you don't want it? Yeah. And what got me thinking today was how that impacts the people that you donate it to. Yeah.
Well, yeah, no, that rings home a little bit to us too, because we just recently moved 2 years ago, and that was a big kind of purge for us.
Yeah.
It actually felt really good to kind of maybe pack up and give the stuff that we no longer use to somebody that could really, really use it.
Yeah.
I've always been told too that you should go through your closet like once a year, and if you haven't put on an article of clothing in that past year, you probably never will put it on. So you should probably like donate it. And there's so many avenues to donate clothing and goods and stuff like that, especially in Airdrie.
Tons. Like and that's the thing. Like, so one I think of in particular is diabetes. And they will actually come to your door and pick up your donated items, which is fantastic and so simple. And of course, it goes to research and funding and all that kind of stuff. But I like it because it's convenient. There's also, of course, various thrift stores and that kind of thing.
Who does the you can donate your car, your wreck?
I think that's diabetes as well.
I think so too. Yeah. And you get like a receipt for like $1,000 or
exactly. And it's interesting because I think a lot of times when we think giving back, sometimes we think about volunteering our hours, or we think about, writing a check or donating funds. But donating items that you no longer use is also giving back. Yeah. And so today I was actually I Googled furniture donation Calgary area or something like that. And a couple of the matches were like women's shelters and family shelters. And I thought, like, that's a huge way to give back. Not only are you supporting this organization, but you're supporting a person in crisis. Yeah. And someone who could really use that coffee table or whatever, a set of plates or who knows.
Well, you never know, too. Like, people in those situations are leaving dangerous situations and they don't necessarily have all the stuff that they can take to another place so that they can be safe. So, a couch, a coffee table, that can mean the world to someone who's just trying to get to a safer place.
Exactly.
So any of that stuff. I mean, we had a couch that we gave away only because when we moved, we couldn't get it into the basement of our new house.
No.
So it was a really good couch, but we put it on Kijiji.
Yeah.
And it was a college student, and we just, when he came to pick it up, we just said, take it. Like, don't worry about, like, what's $20 or $60 or whatever we were asking for it. When he was telling us he was just going to college, and it was, he was like super grateful. And I think he asked if he could come and like help us like move in with the rest of our stuff, because we were still moving in. And it just felt really nice to do that. Like, not necessarily like, somebody really, really in need, but going to college and university, especially nowadays, is pretty expensive, pretty tough. And hopefully he
So you guys kind of did like a surprise give back.
Yeah.
Like with him, in the sense that like he was fully prepared to pay the money for it, and you said, hey, no worries, we got this.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
He came over right away with his roommate, and they had like shorts and sandals on, and it was just typical college kids.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think little things like that, I think it just makes other people's days. And
exactly. And they're like, I think Calgary Interfaith also picks up furniture as well.
Oh, okay.
So that's an option for people if they don't have the ability to take the furniture into some of these other, like Habitat for Humanity. That's actually another good one if you're renovating.
Okay.
Because sometimes, like, you might be taking down your old cabinetry, but they're not in bad shape. Yeah. They're just not the style you want anymore.
That's okay.
So Habitat for Humanity will sometimes take donations like cabinets, or let's say you have a bunch of extra baseboard or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's smart.
So I just think that sometimes we are a society that just accumulates. And I feel like when we are finally going to look at how much we've accumulated and start to get rid of it a little bit, it's a great opportunity to give back. And I think if we reframe it as, instead of, I don't know if I should get rid of that, I might use it, I was going to do a thing, we might put it here. How about reframing it and thinking, could this benefit someone immediately that's going through a difficult time? Could me letting go of this item that I don't really use really help someone? And I think sometimes that's a way for us to let go of all the stuff that we accumulate and pass it on.
For us too, making that movie was really, really gratifying. And I've worked hard of not accumulating stuff anymore, and kind of taken a more like minimalist approach. Like I'm not a minimalist because I've watched those documentaries.
Yeah, me neither.
But it's just really kind of helped, even with your own mentality of, there's a lot you can do without. You don't need to accumulate all the stuff that you have. And it makes you just kind of feel like lighter. I guess if that makes sense. And being able to kind of take the old stuff that we did hold on to, or would like just lived in a cardboard box for years, and like old games and video games that could go to kids or families in need. When you donate them to those places, I think that's so much better than just having like all the boxes underneath your stairs that you never look at, right? So it's kind of twofold, because I found it very helpful to myself too, not having like all this stuff that you cart around because you think you need it. But you keep a few sentimental things, but other than that,
keep it moving. One tote of sentimental items. That's
it. Exactly.
And I think too, like, there's lots of opportunity in Airdrie to do that. Like, I think about sending books to the library.
Totally.
Or to your local schools. Especially, we've got so many schools that have opened up recently, and building a library takes time. Sometimes that's a great place to donate it. Even the preschools, like if your kids are, now school age, but they don't need those board books and whatever that younger kids read.
They even do those community libraries too now, where you can just donate your books and then you just take one and then bring it back.
Take one, leave one. I love
really
those.
Cool.
I love those. And like, there's, with toys, again, preschools, daycares, Community Links had a toy exchange program at one point. So I'm not sure if they accept used toys or not anymore. I don't know the exact details of the program, but my point is that there's opportunities like that out there. There's a lot of, say gyms with childcare facilities, or their, library has groups for small babies and toddlers and that kind of stuff. So, I mean, we talked about a couple of things that were certainly, Calgary based with, Calgary Interfaith and diabetes and all that kind of stuff. But there are lots of things right around town. And of course they are working on that Women's Day shelter as well.
That's awesome.
So that's a spot where donations can help as well.
It's not just about purging yourself and getting rid of stuff. It's about that someone else can really use the stuff that maybe you don't need as as much anymore. And if there's so many avenues to give to people that especially are kind of needing them right away, that's a win-win for everyone.
Oh, exactly.
Right?
Well, and I want to kind of spin it a little bit for businesses, because I think businesses can give back too. And a great example of that is, giving old furniture or older computers or whatever to nonprofit organizations. I wasn't with the games on the early part of it, but I assume that they had stuff that was donated to them, desks, computers and that kind of stuff, and tables, chairs, whatever. And I mean, that goes a long way. I mean, we needed a place to sit for those meetings and, a place to get everything organized. So, whomever donated, if they did or whatever, that's an amazing help. So if you are renovating your office space,
do you know if there's avenues for businesses that are just trying to start out and need like secondhand office equipment? Is there like a thing? Is that
I think there is. I mean, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I feel like there's probably some sort of organization or business that consigns old office furniture or something like that.
I'm just curious because, given, a lot of people now are starting up their own kind of self-run businesses, that if there wasn't an avenue for people, because when you first start out, like, you don't have budgets for, brand new MacBooks and, designer desk chairs that are like, couple of grand. I'm just wondering if there is anything that people can kind of that want to start their own business, that want to keep it really kind of low key at the start. Because if there was, I would love to just direct people, like, even, donating stuff.
Well, if people, maybe if someone's listening to this and they know of a company, like, put it in the comments below, tag them, let us know about it, because I think that's a fantastic idea. Yeah,
because there's so many resources for people who start out in new businesses and stuff like that. I'm sure there's got to be like a resource for people to keep that end of it down too, to help them out with, repurposed laptops and desks and stuff like that. Just like there's so many different avenues for new businesses starting out. Like Smart Start and all that other stuff that helps people kind of get the ball rolling. So I'm just wondering if there was if there is, please let me know, because I would love to kind of put that out there as a resource for people who are starting up.
Well, and that's the thing too. Like, you can have your business for a while, and it might sound like we're talking about a bricks and mortar business storefront. However, like, you work from home, you guys have office chairs and desks. There might be a day when you're like, you know what, I need to upgrade this desk. I need more monitors, or I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
and, you realize that the desk you have is no longer the one you need. So, so it could even be like home-based business is my point there. And even retail businesses, in the sense of, like, you might have purchased some sort of shelving or a table or something like that to display your goods on. Yeah. But then maybe the layout of the store changes or the needs of the store changes, and that can be, passed along to someone else.
Oh, things grow and change, and absolutely. Yeah. And you don't want to throw that stuff out because it's valuable, and it, like, how often do tables, like, actually break down and you can't use them? They always can be repurposed.
Exactly. Right?
Exactly. So, I think there should be definitely a resource for something like that.
Well, if it doesn't exist, someone should start that business.
Absolutely.
It's I think too, the environmental side of it is pretty huge too.
Yeah.
In the sense that I think we do unfortunately send a lot of things to the landfill that didn't necessarily need to go there.
Yeah.
And I think this is also a way to give back to the environment a little bit, in the sense of, if we can pass it on to someone, then let's repurpose it again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. How often do you need to go back to IKEA to buy a new desk or anything?
Exactly.
So absolutely. Save the landfills. Don't be throwing out all that stuff.
Exactly. If it's possible, let's do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is too, at some point, things are done. So be responsible about it.
Yeah.
And think about how we can, like, the electronic recycling and that kind of stuff.
For sure,
I know London Drugs has a great program, and I've taken computers and broken iPads and all that kind of stuff there once, if I've upgraded or something. And they wipe it and... I don't know, do whatever they do.
Yeah, do their thing, yeah.
They properly recycle the electronics. Yeah. And that goes for, like, office supplies too. I mean, I'm pretty sure that you can actually take unused pens, like old pens, and drop them off at Staples to be recycled.
That is cool. I didn't know that.
Now, that being said, like, there's
empty pens, or just...
Like this pen.
But does it have like doesn't work anymore? They'll refill, they'll repurpose it.
I think it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Like, if you're just like, if you have a junk drawer and there's like 400 pens in there, and you're like, I gotta get rid of some of these. Of course, again, schools, like anything, office supplies, tape, glue, markers, pens, pencils. If a school could use it, if the library could use it, if a nonprofit organization could use it.
Absolutely.
It's funny because I'm part of 100 Women Who Care, and they always say, we're always welcoming donations and stuff for pens and office supplies, because at every meeting we fill out a form and they want to pass pens around.
Oh,
right?
Wow, yeah.
And so it's like, well, there's 20 in my drawer that aren't getting used.
Yeah.
Might as well hand them off. But my point is that there are places where you can recycle it. If there isn't a community group or a location that wants it, you can actually recycle some of this stuff, which is insane.
Again, this sounds just like almost like there needs to be a business center.
Yeah.
Where if you go and you're a non-for-profit business and you're running an event, that you can go there and they will for free loan you out, a bucket of pens, couple of desks, chairs, and then when you're done, you bring it back.
Yeah.
Because a lot of these things, these pop-up things too, like the games, you guys needed a whole bunch of stuff all at once, and then when you're done, what do you do with it all? Right? It has to go back to somewhere. And if there was like a resource, I think that's like a need. If there's like a resource where, I'm sure there is.
But like even if someone came in and was like, hey, we're like 100 women.
Yeah.
Hey, we need some pens. Here you go. Yeah. Here's a stack.
Yeah. And if like businesses or just people around town knew that, I'd be bringing pens and markers and stuff all the time there.
Exactly. And then they can disperse it out. And if someone never brings it back, that's totally fine. Keep it.
Yeah.
And if at some point they go, hey, thanks for lending this to us, we're going to bring it back now, or we no longer need it.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting concept for sure.
Really
and there's a need.
Yeah.
I think there's definitely a need because, how many times you kind of beg, borrow, and steal, but if there was a central place.
Yeah, we have one of these fold-up tables, too, that we loan out to different people all the time. They always call us, hey, we're doing an event, we need a table, and do you guys have any? And just little things like that. But if there was like an actual resource, like a place that you could go, maybe there is. Again, if there is, let me know.
Yeah, totally. Tell us.
Because I would love to know and like kind of help that out, too, or direct people to.
Yeah, exactly. So. Exactly. Yeah, no, I think it's really interesting how it all can kind of come full circle, and you kind of clearing out what you don't need can impact someone else, and hey, there might even be a business idea here as well.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think these are all great ideas that we can, have these resources to give back to the community, not only just for personal, but for also businesses. I think in the end, it all helps out because even if you give back to like businesses, when they grow up and they get, well established, hopefully they'll pay it forward. And in the end, like, I think it's just going to better everybody, both personally, the people that need it, like in situations like, bad situations where they need, furniture, or businesses where they can grow their business easier, better, and then help pay it forward even more. So I guess it's that win-win. So yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. I love it. The Real Purpose podcast is brought to you by The Car Group, a real estate team that wants you to love your community as much as your home. Real estate with real purpose. Visit thecargroup.ca today. All right, Trevor. So this month we actually just have one story, and sometimes that happens depending on how many nominations come in and all that good stuff.
For sure.
But this is Kim and Brian's story, and I don't have to really say too much before we listen to the audio because Kim was really great at kind of sharing the journey that her and her husband have been on and what he's been facing medically. So let's have a listen to that.
Okay, awesome.
So I'm sitting here today with you, Kim. And you are our recipient for March 2020. You and your husband have been going through some challenging times for a while.
Yeah.
From what I understand, it started with headaches.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what's happened, diagnosis, and where things are today.
He started having headaches about 12 years ago.
Oh, wow.
One headache for the last 12 years. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And through diagnosis for that, they ruled out different kinds of headaches, but they don't know why he gets them. And he's now on medication that has calmed it down where he can handle it somewhat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, he was having some issues with depression and that type of thing. They had thought it was bipolar, so he was treated for bipolar for about 2 years. And then I kind of felt things it didn't seem like it was bipolar to me.
Yeah.
So I kind of questioned a few things, got back with their family doctor, got him into somebody else, and that's when they found out that he had dementia.
Okay.
And then I found out there's a whole lot of different kinds of dementias.
Yes, there are.
Yes.
Yeah. So what type does he have?
He has, it's called BVFTD, Behavioral Variant Temporal Frontal Dementia.
Okay.
So it's not very common.
Okay. And then this must impact work.
Yes.
And that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah. He was no longer able to work. This started when he was 2016.
Okay.
So the last 2 years that he should have been able to work, he couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So now you guys have received another diagnosis.
Yeah, ALS.
Which we know is Lou Gehrig's disease as well, which is a devastating diagnosis. But combined, from what I understand with ALS, it's so challenging because they lose physical function, but the mind is there.
Right.
But in this case, your husband also has dementia.
Yes.
So it's a double whammy,
It
really.
is, yeah.
I can't even imagine.
And the ALS is a very slow moving, and so is the dementia.
Okay.
So, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just progressing everything quite long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's it been like for you? You've gone from partner and wife to primary caregiver.
Yeah.
And these are a lot of changes. That must weigh heavily on you.
It does. It does. Yeah, it's been tough.
Well, with the Airdrie Angel program, our whole goal is to lift the spirits of people going through a difficult time. And I think a lot of people can barely try and imagine what you're going through. And we hope that this package just lifts your spirits a little bit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
The first item we have for you is a bouquet of flowers from Summerhill Florist. So nice way to brighten up the day. The Pink Wand Cleaning has donated a 1-hour 3-person clean for your home.
Okay.
So something to take off your plate so you can do something for yourself during that time.
Okay.
Big Springs Plumbing and Heating have donated $200 in gift cards for groceries for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 100 Men Who Give a Damn have donated $200 in gift cards for fuel for you guys.
Okay.
So Montana's Restaurant has donated a $200 gift card for dinner for you guys.
Wow.
Sorry.
Okay.
David Bowman Painting has donated $200 in gift cards for parking for you guys.
Okay.
So, because I understand you're going to the hospital and...
We do. We spend a lot of time at the Foothills and South Health Campus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I understand that you have granddaughters as well.
I do.
So what we have from 100 Men Who Give a Damn is movie passes, so you guys can go out and see a movie with them.
Okay.
So there's that.
Thank you.
Your nominator wrote in your nomination that one of the things you do with your husband is you take him on a drive and you guys go to Tim Hortons. And
we do
get a coffee.
We do. We go to the dog park and watch the dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a ritual and it's something you guys enjoy doing together.
Yes.
So 100 Men Who Give a Damn also have gift cards for Tim Hortons. So you guys can keep doing that.
Oh,
so $50
thank you.
there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Finally, there was an event called Triple Sweat. This was put on by F45, Push Cycling, and 9 Round Boxing.
Okay.
And they did a fundraiser for Airdrie Angel. So with the funds they raised, we have $500 cash for whatever that you may need.
Wow.
And there you are.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's a lot to imagine. And if a movie with your granddaughters or getting coffee with your husband or even just not worrying about groceries or cleaning the house or gas, if that helps to lift your spirits
that
and
helps
relieve the burden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. An awful lot.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah. I mean, you can't imagine a diagnosis like that for your partner, right?
I almost look at like when I hear stories like this that they almost seem worse like than losing somebody because like they're still there but they're not. And like I couldn't imagine like, you know, I always try to bring it back to myself and how I would react in situations like that. And it's just gut-wrenching to think like, you know, I don't, it's just really hard to hear that. And you can hear at the end, like it must be really, really tough on her to be that primary caregiver. That's a tough story.
And she's such a giving woman too. She actually volunteers with the Lioness and does amazing work with that group. And I told her, I said, I just think that's really amazing and this is why I appreciate volunteers so much, because you never know what's going on in people's lives. But yet there she is working the hamper program over Christmas and all the other stuff they do throughout the year. despite what's going on. And she said, oh, it's good. It's good for me to get out. It helps me.
For sure, yeah.
But you could get out and do a lot of things. And when you get out and choose to help others, that says something about you.
Yeah, and it just sounded like it escalated really quickly, too.
Yeah.
Like, I know he had the headaches for 12 years, which is insane. Like, I couldn't imagine having a constant headache for 12 years. No. But then it just seemed like at the end, everything seems to be like escalating a little bit faster, which just come as a shock. Like, that's never good.
But she was incredibly grateful, and I really think that these items meant a lot to them, especially the Tim Hortons gift card. So I'm really excited for that. So, and if you have a dog and you're walking your dog in the dog park, you never know who might be sitting there.
Well, I was thinking that too. I'm like, I wonder what dog park it is, because we bring Blue all the time to the east side one, and they can borrow Blue for the afternoon if they ever wanted to. I know she's awesome with lifting spirits and stuff like that. But
exactly.
You just never know who's in the dog park and just needs to see that.
What's going on? So pretty amazing. All right.
The Real Purpose Podcast is brought to you by Switchback Creative, a marketing and web development company that is committed to telling the story of your brand. Check out switchbackcreative.ca.
All right, Trevor. So now we are on to the purpose pick for this podcast. I feel like we've kind of mentioned some pretty awesome purpose picks as we were chatting away, because there's so many great places where we can donate items to. Yeah. And to me, those are great purpose picks. Yeah.
Absolutely. For sure. There's so many great little places that you can drop off stuff to that will go to people in need.
Exactly. So I think what I'm going to do is in the show notes, we'll make a list of some of the places, most of all the places we mentioned, and see if we can add a couple more to the list as well, and just talk a little, give maybe some guidelines of what kind of stuff they accept, because I know, for example, diabetes will say small appliances, toys, clothing, shoes, but so they don't accept furniture, but I know Calgary Interfaith does, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll kind of give a little bit of guideline around that. And if people are thinking, hey, it's time to spring clean my business or my home, they can find a place to send that stuff to.
And if you read the show notes and you don't see a place that does accept it, or you can help us out, like tweet at us or send us a message or put it in the comments.
Whatever.
Anything, just to help us get the word out that there are these awesome resources and we don't know them all maybe. And if you could just, if you see something there that you know about and you want to share with us, feel free to let us know, because we'd love to share it.
That's fantastic. Well, that is it for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. Leave comments below as we've suggested to you. If you're watching this on Facebook or Instagram, like it, heart it, do all the things. And if you're listening on podcast platforms like Anchor or Spotify or iTunes or Google, whatever, subscribe, and then you'll never miss an episode. And most important, if you know someone in the Airdrie area who's going through a difficult time at no fault of their own and could use a lift to the spirit from our community, please go to airdrieangel.ca and nominate them today.
Yeah, please. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. Until next time, we are wishing you real purpose in all that you guys do. Thank you.